On today's episode of Saber Sundays, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Kylo Ren saber. We're also going to compare it to show the differences between it and the Ben Solo we looked at last week. So stay tuned. We'll look at those next. That's right. We are going to go ahead and look at the Kylo Ren saber today with a comparison of it to the Ben Solo, which was kind of the prequel saber to the Kylo Ren, if you want to look at it that way. Today's kind of a continuation of last week's video to show you, when we looked at the Ben Solo itself. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into Kylo Ren. So the Kylo Ren saber. So this is what the Kylo Ren case looks like. It's got the First Order logo on the front. Got the slight difference than the Ben Solo. Both cases are the larger size case because the sabers are much larger. Go ahead and open it up here, and you have the Kylo Ren saber inside. This particular saber, again, does come with the larger size case, mainly because it does have not only the different style belt clip like the Ben Solo has, which we'll look at here in a second as comparison, but it also has the side blades. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out, show you underneath the case. So you take the tray out, set that to the side there, and inside this tray is a little bit more going on than under the Ben Solo, because you do have both of the side blades on here, and then you have the belt clip. So let's go ahead and get those and set this to the side, and we'll get to looking here. So here is your Kylo Ren. Very similar in look to the Ben Solo. Does have the special belt clip. Does not have the cover tech on it, just like the Ben Solo does. Now, the difference, I said before, is that the Ben Solo and the Kylo Ren belt clips will work with each other. However, they are colored differently to coincide with the appropriate saber. They look like the same in the front. I'm just trying to angle it here for you, get some light on it. Silver versus your black. The belt pieces on the back are the same and everything on there. And your belt clip on the actual Kylo Ren is different than the Ben Solo. I currently have the battery pack out of this one here for you, but you can see the Ben Solo has got the brass with the silver on it, whereas your Kylo Ren actually has it looks like an all brass style belt clip there on the side. Looking at them side by side, let me flip them over here. Starting with the front side, you've got your switches. They're both pretty much about the same, in the same places and everything. But as you can tell by looking at it, you do have the additions of the side blades that were put on the saber, basically to allow the extra power and plasma coming out from the broken or the shattered Kyber crystal, fractured Kyber crystal, I should say, that is housed inside the Kylo Ren lightsaber. You can see on the sides here as you're looking at it where those attachments are at. Very, very similar, and you can see on the back, though, as I turn it, where the Kyber crystal actually kind of exploded and damaged on the side there. And then you have the additional exhaust or wiring that comes out of that area that is not on the Ben Solo Saber. And those are really some of the biggest differences between the two that really jump out at you. As far as everything else goes, I mean, everything else pretty much looks very, very much the same, because in essence, they are the same saber. This is just the modified and updated version of it for when he became Kylo Ren. Now, there are some differences also to the battery chassis, and I'm going to show you on that how you can see the difference on those. The battery covers on the Kylo Ren is a much brighter red, whereas you have more of a almost a matte color red for the Ben Solo. Unless I got these mixed up, and I may have at some point. I don't believe I did, but I will have to double check and make sure, because it would make more sense that this one be on there versus that one. But I will double check and make sure on that, because for some reason I would imagine the dirtier one should actually go on the Kylo Ren. So moving on here, you got the difference in the battery chassis. This is the one from the Ben Solo that we looked at last week. It has some black markings on there. Almost looks like carbon markings and stuff like that. Versus your Kylo Ren is a little bit shinier. It's orange on the inside there, and I'm not sure why it would be orange in there. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. But as I look at the designing of them, if I put the two side by side and I rotate, you can see that there's a lot of very similarities to the designing of the two battery chassis. There are some variances that I'm seeing as I'm spinning it around. Primarily, one of them I'm noticing here is where this is located at on this particular one. Because I'm looking at where the channels are where they slide in, and they don't actually line up the same. The grill here that you're seeing here, and this being where the battery chassis groove is at, where my finger is actually on the opposite side of it, and my finger up here. Now, that could just be when, the manufacturers put the pieces on, they didn't line them up right. I don't know. I haven't tried swapping around. I literally just noticed it myself. So, honestly, it's not that big a deal. But if you wanted them to be both, I guess you could say, identical the way they technically should be, you probably could pop that off. But me personally, I don't want to damage mine, so I am not going to do that. So let me go ahead and drop the battery chassis back in place. There we go. And I'm going to install the darker red back on my Kylo Ren, because I believe that is the correct one for that one. And then look for the notch, reinstall the battery chassis in my Ben Solo, because I want to give you the difference in sound as well. I want to show you the difference in sound with the blades installed, so that you can see what sound difference we have. Now, with the Kylo Ren, you do have 3 blade caps. So you have the top, and then you have both the side blade caps that do come out. Your blades, the side blades, they will only go in one direction as well. Insert and turn. Find your notch. Insert and turn. Yeah, they both turn the same direction, so when you put them in, if you're holding the saber towards you, facing towards you, the blade you're going to insert and turn towards you this way. So insert and turn this way. And you can see, I mean, it is pretty dang wide. To get the right ratio of size, because of having these side blades on, I use a 36-inch blade. It just gives it more of that correct look to it. I'm going to go ahead and back up because I want to be able to use my Jaymoo blade, which this will be the very first time that I've put the Jaymoo in this. I will say that from my understanding, the guys over at Jaymoo are working on side blades. For last I heard talking to him, it's been a few months. I don't know if they've done anything with it, but looking at additional side blades that will work like the Jaymoo blade on here as well. I'm interested to see if that's the case. I'm curious because, for one, I want to know if when you change the functions on the Jaymoo blade itself, if it will actually operate the side blades or not. And that may be one of the reasons why we're running into issues with the guys over at Jaymoo getting that for us. So we're going to go ahead and put a standard blade in the Ben Solo, which we did not do last week, mainly because I knew I was going to do it this week. So, to refresh the audio, you've got your standard audio sound from the saber. Kind of sounds like the majority of the lightsabers that you would hear inside the movies. You got your strike sound on there. So that's the sound you get from the Ben Solo. With the Kylo Ren, I'm going to turn the Ben Solo off. You get that pulsation. You get the crackling sound. You get that unstable, cracked Kyber sound coming from your Kylo Ren. The sound, the clash is a lot stronger sounding on there. It has a much more sinister sound to it, honestly. Much more sinister than your Ben Solo. Now, I know you probably can't see it very well. I'm going to sit my Ben Solo down, but it's a really nice visual effect. I'm going to try to turn my lights down a little bit here for you. A nice visual effect that you get with the Jaymoo blade. With that pulsation in there, the cracked look, it looks better than the look that the standard blade gives. The standard blade doesn't have quite the oomph to it. It just kind of got a little flicker. And that's all it's got. It's just a little bit of a flicker, nothing major. If you can see on my hand, just a slight amount of flickering on there. Going back to the Jaymoo, because that way I can show you on my hand again, you get a much more unstable look to it. Let me see if I can turn some of my lights off here and give you a little bit better. A little bit better view. I'm looking for my remote for my LEDs. I think I've left it over on my 3D printers. But and you can really see like right in here. And actually, if you look on the frame of the picture right behind me, you can actually see it much better on there. It gives a really nice, and what you're seeing, if you're looking at the picture you know, right here, that's actually more of what it looks like as you're looking at it. It's got a much nicer flicker to it. So if you've ever considered, let me get the light back on, if you ever considered a Jaymoo, just for this saber alone, honestly, it makes it look so much nicer than your standard Galaxy's Edge blade. It's just got a much better effect to it. And of course, you could see also that the side blades, you don't get that effect with the side blades on there. They just don't have that flicker on it in any way, shape, or form. So, but that's the major differences between the two. You know, you got much more of a weathered look on some of the things with the Kylo Ren, you know, from the damage, weathering on the belt clip, and the heat exchange lines basically on the side blades there, the exhaust blades, and being able to see inside on here the design from the inside of the saber itself that you don't have with the Ben Solo. So what do you guys think? Which one do you like better? Me personally, I think they both look great. I think they represent and show, you know, the idea and the design from the movie itself. I really enjoy these personally. I will say that the Kylo Ren was one of the first sabers that I bought when I first went to Galaxy's Edge back in, I guess it was early 2020, just before they shut everything down. I went in there and saw this one, and it's just like I wanted to have this saber because I really liked the way it looked. So what do you think? Do you like them? Do you not like them? You know, leave me some comments down below. I'd really appreciate it. I love being able to chat back and forth with you guys and you know, see what your thoughts and your impressions are on things. So just to remind you, you can get better updates and more active, I should say, updates to when my videos are coming out via my Instagram and Twitter accounts. I send out notifications on that day before, just before the videos go out, just reminders, so you guys can get the most latest and greatest information on those. That information will be right down here on the bottom of the screen for you if you're curious. They'll also be in the description section of this video. Go ahead, if you don't mind, I'd appreciate it if you hit me with a like and to subscribe on the channel and on my Facebook page. Hit the little bell notification so that way, you know, whenever I do go live or put the video up on there, you'll get a notification from YouTube as well. So thanks again for stopping by. I do appreciate your time and spending with me and listening to me ramble about things, you know, that have to do with Star Wars and sabers and Kybers and all that kind of stuff. Look forward to doing some more Kyber videos here real soon, because we're getting down to the very last few sabers that I've got for Saber Sundays until some more stuff come out. We've got a couple of Ahsokas to do. We have the dark saber that you see up here behind me, and I'm actually going to go ahead and do my Force Effects Emperor Palpatine one. Probably be one of the last ones that I do. But got some exciting stuff coming up. I'm going to start doing some other videos as well going forward. Try to get to where you guys are getting some kind of video content every few days if possible. So with that being said, again, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you next time. And as always, may the Force be with you.